Hey guys, I'm back. I'm back. I'll give y'all a few minutes to get in. I am sitting here eating my lunch. I am having greens, plain greens, and some green tea, diet green tea, that is. But let me go ahead on and put some hold on music. No, we're going to do some. Let me go ahead and do some more intro. I'll be back.
Okay, ready? One, two, three. Hold on now. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I think it goes something like this. Whoa. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Cause every time I turn around, there's something trying to keep me down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Whoa, can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. When I look up, don't you know, burdens knocking at my door. So won't you come and take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Oh, come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Somebody come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Soon as I get up off the ground, my burdens knock me right back down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Oh, off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Get them off of me, off of me. Come and break the chain. Come and break the chain. Off of me. Get it off of me. Off of me. Get it off of me. Off of me. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody to get this burden. To get this burden. Can somebody take these burdens off of me?
Okay, guys, sorry about that. I had to give me some nourishment in my body. I had to get some nourishment in my body, y'all. We're back. Hey, reader. Oh, got my reader helping me get this stuff out to you guys this afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. All right, good people. Let's get started.
Okay. United States of America versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, Darrell McDavid, and Milton Brown. Corrected government's response to defendant Darrell McDavid's motion to compel discovery. The United States of America, through its attorney John R. Lausch Jr., United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, hereby responds to defendant Darrell McDavid's motion to compel discovery and supplemental motion to compel discovery, R-252. The defendant McDavid's motion to compel discovery should be denied, as set forth more fully below. Defendants asked the court to authorize a fishing expedition into matters as wide-ranging as DOJ policies and procedures governing the retention of data and explanation for a victim's nickname and toll records reflecting communications between the government and potential witnesses. They attempt to justify this expedition based upon two sets of materials previously disclosed to the defense by the government. A. Email exchanges through which an author provided to the government an about to be published manuscript about R. Kelly and B, text messages between a prosecutor and one of Kelly's victims, primarily scheduling later calls or meetings. Neither set of materials provide a basis for the discovery defendants seek. Moreover, nothing in Rule 16, Brady, or the Jenks Act authorizes defendants' broad requests. Defendants' motion should be denied. Do you want to comment or you want me to keep going?
Keep going. You saw me shaking my head, right? I was
Yes.
shaking my head.
Okay, let's get
Oh my
into the
God. Okay, go
background.
ahead.
Background. The charges. The superseding indictment alleges that from approximately 1996 to 2001, Robert Sylvester Kelly engaged in unlawful sexual conduct with minors, including minors referred to in the indictment as minor 1, minor 3, minor 4, minor 5, and minor 6. As part of the abuse, Kelly recorded himself engaged in sexually explicit conduct with minors on videotape. According to the indictment, Darrell McDavid, who worked as Kelly's accountant and business manager from approximately 1991 to 2014, and others knew of Kelly's unlawful sexual contact with minors, including specifically that Kelly had recorded himself engaged in such conduct on videotape. McDavid conspired with Kelly and with others to protect Kelly from allegations of child sexual abuse and exploitation, including by inter alia, concealing evidence and pressuring others to do so, and paying others to collect and return incriminating videotapes. Based on this conduct, McDavid and Kelly and other of Kelly's employees, Milton June Brown, are charged in this case with federal offenses, including sexual exploitation of a minor, Kelly, conspiracy to obstruct justice, McDavid and Kelly, conspiracy to receive child pornography, Kelly, McDavid, and Brown, receipt of child pornography, Kelly and McDavid, and enticement of minors to engage in unlawful sexual conduct, Kelly. Discovery. Beginning on August the 2nd, 2019, shortly after the indictment in this case was returned, the government began a rolling production of documents and other materials in accordance with Fed R. Crim, page 16. From the beginning, the government's document productions far exceeded its Rule 16 obligations. For example, the government included in its first production numerous witness statements, investigative reports, and grand jury transcripts. Collectively, the government has produced to defendants approximately 11,959 files, including documents, images, spreadsheets, and audio-video recordings, totaling 49.3 gigabytes, as well as 8,488 files totaling nearly 12 gigabytes of materials, which were received from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York on May the 8th, 2022. Production of documents related to author Jim Derogatis. On August the 1st, 2022, the government provided defendants with materials documenting communications on April the 16th, April the 30th of 2019 between Angel Krull, an assistant U.S. attorney formerly assigned to the case, and Jim Derogatis, an investigative reporter and author who had written a book entitled Soulless, The Case Against R. Kelly. Based on his long-term investigation of allegations of child sexual abuse by Kelly, in a telephone conversation with AUSA Krull, Derogatis agreed to provide the government with a PDF copy of his book, which was then in final manuscript form. Derogatis' book was released to the public on June the 4th, 2022. As documented by the records produced to defendants, email messages related to the delivery of Derogatis' book were exchanged using the Gmail account with the email address piedpiper312@gmail.com. Subscribe to under the name Demetrius Slavinsky. This email account was created by and at the suggestion of a Homeland Security investigation agent. Mm. The emails, foreign number, were saved and subsequently preserved as PDF documents by an HSI employee. One, the first email was sent by AUSA Cruel to their guidance on April 16, 2019 at 5:33 p.m. AUSA Cruel thanked their guidance for speaking earlier that day and told him he could send his book using this email address. The email was signed Angel. Two, the second email was sent by Dear Guidance approximately 20 minutes later at 5:56 p.m. In this email, Dear Guidance forwarded a PDF copy of Soulless manuscript, asked for a confirmation of receipt of the manuscript, and offered to quote unquote chat if the AUSA had any questions. Three, the third email was sent by AUSA Cruel to their guidance approximately 1 hour later at 7:07 p.m. The email confirmed receipt of the manuscript and was signed Angel. Four, the fourth and final email was sent by their guidance on April 30th, 2019 at 1:43 p.m. In this email, their guidance was asked whether the book had been of any help and added that he had received a call a little bit ago from a prominent enabler mentioned in the book who was convinced he had become a target. Dot, dot, dot. Their guidance commented that the enabler sounded very shook up and had reported that the investigation appeared to be moving fast. Their guidance explained the purpose of his email this way: I wouldn't be a reporter if I didn't check in. Although the two emails sent by AUSA Cruel reflected the name of the sender as Demetrius Slavinsky, both were signed using AUSA Cruel's true name, Angel. The other two emails were sent by their guidance, who was fully aware of the identity of the account user. In the first, their guidance forwarded the manuscript and requested confirmation of its receipt. The second email was also limited in scope. Their guidance inquired whether the book had been helpful and check in with AUSA Cruel in his capacity as a reporter. The telephone conversation referred to in AUSA's Cruel's first email was brief and focused on the prospect of their guidance sharing the manuscript of his book. AUSA Cruel did not discuss the investigation with their guidance and did not provide him with any confidential details about the case. Moreover, AUSA Cruel did not respond to their guidance's April 30th, 2019 email or to two subsequent telephone messages he left for her after she had left the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois. There were no further communications regarding this matter between their guidance and AUSA Cruel or any other employee or agent of the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office, and neither AUSA Cruel nor any other AUSA or government agent has ever provided their guidance with any confidential information regarding this matter at any time. No other private or personal email accounts were opened or used by agents or prosecutors as part of the investigation or prosecution of this case. As the government has previously advised defendants in this court, the government has no intention of calling their guidance as a witness, nor is the government aware of any information in the soulless manuscript that is in any way exculpatory or otherwise helpful to the preparation of the defendant's case. Nevertheless, the government disclosed the manuscript and related emails to defendants in an abundance of caution. Production of text messages involving minor one. On June the 2nd, 2022.
Hold on, reader. Hold on, y'all. I gotta open my mouth. I got to open my mouth.
Go ahead. What you got to say?
Do you know that's a bunch of lies, right? A bunch of kakalaki lies because no information was given from their guy because he's the one who gave the dig on tape in the beginning. What the heck? What are they talking about? Oh my God! Lies, 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 lies. What? What?
The cover up is real.
He pleaded the fifth. Y'all, we're gonna read him tonight. We're gonna read about Derek Goggins pleading the fifth. He's a oh. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Okay. Production of text messages involving minor one. On June the 2nd, 2022, the government produced to defendants recorded records documenting text messages between AUSA Cruel and Minor One during the period July the 7th of 2019 through July the 20th, 2020. The text messages detailed in the table attached hereto as Exhibit A consist of short messages focused almost exclusively on arranging telephone calls and visits, which were sent and received using AUSA Cruel's government cell phone. As reflected in the records produced to defendants, the text messages were preserved for the file as screenshots. AUSA Cruel preserved these screenshots and placed them in a case file before she left office so that they could be produced in discovery in this case. Defendants motion to compel additional discovery. In response to these disclosures, McDavid filed his motion to compel discovery, which Kelly subsequently joined, seeking extensive discovery concerning communication with Derek Gaddis and the private email account used to exchange the 4 emails described above. The motion sets forth multiple requests for an extensive quantity of information and documents included in summary 1. All reports and records, including toll, text, and social media records of any communication between Derek Gaddis and any employee or agent of the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office concerning Robert Kelly or Darrell McDavid. 2. All communications between any prosecution team member with any potential witness, in this case using a personal email address. 3. An explanation of who, other than Ms. Cruel, was aware of the use of the private email account to communicate with Derek Gaddis, and whether the communication was approved by supervisors at the U.S. Attorney's Office. 4. An explanation of why screenshots of the communications with Derek Gaddis were made at the time they were made, and who was involved in a decision to disclose the screenshots to defense in August of 2022. 5. All DOJ or USAO policies and procedures governing retention of account data, including but not limited to messages sent, received, and deleted, as well as the access logs for the private email account used to communicate with Derek Gaddis and any other personal account used to communicate with potential witnesses. On August the 5th, 2022, McDavid filed a supplemental motion to compel discovery, R-252, which Kelly also joined, seeking documents and information concerning communications AUSA Cruel and other members of the prosecution team and the alleged victim of defendants Kelly's offenses. In summary, defendants' wide-ranging requests include requests for 1, all communication between AUSA Cruel and Minor One or any other civilian witnesses at any time, whether or not the government intends to call them as a witness at trial. 2, an explanation for why the name Boss Baby, or BB for short, was used, and why and when it was input into AUSA Cruel's iPhone. 3, all contacts between Agent Amalia Molina and Minor One or any other civilian potential witness in this case. And 4, all communications exchanged between AUSA Cruel and Agent Molina during this investigation, including communications regarding other investigations and sensitive matters. As discussed below, both motions should be denied. get into the
Okay,
argument.
you want me to go ahead and start? Let me start, and then you take over again.
Okay.
All right. Argument. A. Applicable law. There is no general constitutional right to discovery in a criminal case. United States versus Vargas. Clean up or emphasis added. Then the federal government's discovery obligation in criminal cases are generally established by Rule 16 and 26.2 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedures. The Jenks Act, as well as Brady versus Maryland. Rule 16A, in particular, set forth the ground upon which a criminal defendant may obtain discovery from the government. In relevant part, it provides that the government must produce, upon request, defendant's statement as well as book, paper, document, data, and portion of any of these items, if they are within the government's possession, custody, or control, and either material to preparing the defense, likely to be used in the government's case in chief at trial, or the items was obtained from or belongs to the defendant. Federal Criminal Procedure Procedure 16, Rule 16 also identify categories of information that are not subject to disclosure. Under Brady, the government has a duty a duty has a I'm sorry, the government has a duty to disclose any information in its possession that is favorable to the defendant and the material either to guilt or punishment. Brady 373 US at 88. Information favorable to the defendant includes evidence which would tend to exculpate, say that word for me, Rita.
Exculpate.
Exculpate the defendant to reduce the penalty. Brady 373 US at 87, and evidence regarding the reliability and the credibility of government witnesses. See Giglio 405 US at 154 55. Materiality is this context means that the discovery sought must significantly help or uncovering admissible evidence, aiding witness preparation, collaborating testimony, and assisting impeachment and rebuttal. U.S. United States versus Owen, 18F 4th 928 7th Circuit 2021, citing United States and Gaddis, 877 F 2nd to 605 611 7th Circuit 1989. Citation and internal quotation marks omitted. This court has described material evidence as that which were enable the accused to substantially alter the quantum of proof in his favor. Owens 18F 4th and 935, citing United States versus Oziskowski. Okay, I'm not going to read all of that. Material means more than the evidence in question, bears more abstract, logical relationship to the issue in the case. The defendant bears the burden to make at least a prima facie showing that the request item are material to his defense. Owen 18. That's a cited case. This burden cannot be met by general description or conclusionary argument. Instead, the defendant must convincingly explain how the discovery sought will significantly help him uncover. Now, wait a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. Now they got to explain why they should have the Brady information.
I
That's what
think
he's
this
asking
is a
them for?
I think this is a stall tactic.
I think so too. Okay, I'm going to continue. Sorry, guys. Additionally, the trial court should consider the material that have already been produced, the availability of the requested material for other sources, and the defendant's own knowledge. B. Defendant has established no legal basis for obtaining additional discovery based on the communication involved Jim Derogatis. What? What?
Read that sentence again.
Says B. Defendant have established no legal basis for obtaining additional discovery based on communications involving Jim Derogatis. Y'all, Jim Derogatis is the one that initially the videotape came from. What the heck are they talking about?
They're trying to protect him. He already pled the fifth before. He don't want to get on that stand. They trying to protect him.
They got all the information from him.
I understand.
What in the world? Okay, let me finish reading. Defendant have not come close to establishing the basis of obtaining additional discovery based on a record related to the communication with author Jim Derogatis. The communications with Derogatis relate to his sharing the manuscript copy of his soon-to-be released book. The government has provided defendant with the manuscript, and the published book has been available to defendant in the public since June 2019.
Wait a minute. Wait. Didn't they just say earlier that the book wasn't published until February 2022?
Yeah.
So why are you going back to 2019?
And Derogatis is the one, the reporter, has been on Robert's back for how long? He even put it in the book. I mean, the song. I admit.
If the book wasn't published until February, I believe it said 2020, how are they now saying the published book has been available to defendants and to the public since June the 4th, 2019?
Hold on, y'all. I got something to play for y'all. Hold on a second. I'm going to tell y'all the role that Jim Derogatis played on this. Hold on. I got something to play for y'all. Y'all know I always have something. I always come up with something, right? I got something I want to play for y'all. Hold on. Oh, did I close it? Damn it. I think I closed it. Hold on, y'all. I think I closed it, guys. Oh. I got up in there. Hold on a second, because I got to pause in a minute to give you guys this tidbit of information, because you always have to back up and show them certain things, right? And I'm about to show it to you guys, and you know what? I'm gonna play it from here. Hold on, I'm gonna play it from my phone. Fair use act. This is for educational purposes. And I'm going to use it. Just 1 second, good folks. Just 1 second. Let me pull it up on my phone. Fair Use Act. We're going to utilize it right now.
So on page 4, while you're looking for that, on page 4, it says, Derogatis agreed to provide the government with a PDF copy of his book, which was then in final manuscript form. Derogatis' book was released to the public on June the 4th, 2022.
June the 4th, 2022. That's wrong.
Exactly. They just said it was released in 2019. But on page 4, you said it was released June the 4th, 2022. So which
that was this year. That was this year.
Exactly.
They're such liars. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. They so discombobulated, y'all. They just throwing out anything.
That's that confusion.
That's the confusion we prayed about, Lord. That's what the confusion we pray. We ask God to confuse them, Lord. Confuse them. Confuse them and also expose them, Lord. Expose them. All right, y'all. I've got something to play for y'all. Hold on.
Child pornography is such a toxic and horrible crime that to say that you had even touched that video tape, much less watched it, perhaps copied it or shown it to someone else, would be admitting a felony. Okay? So Damon said you should take the Fifth Amendment, and on the grounds that you saying anything at all about that tape is incriminating yourself, you're protected by the U.S. Constitution from talking about that tape. That was less than satisfactory to me.
Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard him. He's all in the mix, y'all. He's all in the mix. And then she goes and they reach out to each other, and she gets a copy of the book, and she uses stuff from the book in there, even though she's not saying that. She uses stuff from the book and got people from the book. And y'all, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Your Honor, Judge Ledenweber, I hope someone's watching this. Don't let them give you that banana in the tailpipe stuff. Is that the way you say it? Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. You can see clearly from the bull. All right, go ahead, reader. Oh, I'm supposed to be reading, right?
Yes.
My bad. Okay. Okay. Defendant argue that they are entitled to additional discovery they seek because Derogatis is a potential witness. As the government has advised defendant in the court that has no intention of calling Derogatis as a witness in its case in chief. Moreover, although defendant vaguely suggests that they may call Derogatis as a defense case in the defense case, they offer no explanation of the testimony he might give. God, Lord Jesus, help me. Help me, Father. Help me, help me, help me, Lord. Help me, help me. Help me, help me, help me. Help me, dear Father God. Help me, help me. All right, this is why they don't like us going into these things and they hide them, because this was hidden before and they had to unhide it. This doesn't have anything to hide of anybody's personal information. No, they try to hide it and they had to unseal it because they try to answer it hidden. You know what? They try to hide this opposition. But let me finish reading it to you guys because you guys want to know. I'm sorry for cutting in, but I just needed to do that. I'm going to try to read it through and not cut in anymore, okay? Because it distracts. It's a distraction. I hate it too. All right, let's go. All right, it says here, as the government advised it, I'm going to read that part again. As the government advised defendant and the court, it has no intention of calling Derogatis as a witness in this case in chief. Moreover, although defendant vaguely suggests that they may call Derogatis in the defense case, they offer no explanation of the testimony he might give or how that testimony would benefit the defense. Given the nature of Derogatis' relationship to the case, it is highly unlikely that he would have any testimony beneficial to the defense. In any event, the government has produced all records in its possession related to the communications between Derogatis and members of the investigation and prosecution team in this case. Nothing more is required. Arguing the government's use of private email account to receive Derogatis' manuscript requires additional investigation. Defendant makes expansion requesting for information related to the use of that account, including records related to internal decision-making and supervision of the use of the account or similar accounts, and any and all DOJ's policy and procedures regarding use of personal email account and retention records to such use. None of the defendants' request seeks the disclosure of information required by the federal rules of criminal procedure 16, the Jenks account or Brady or Giglio, and none seek information that has any relevance to the element in any of the charges offenses. To the contrary, all of the defense requests rest on faulty premise that the government use of private email counts as deceptive and otherwise improper. As noted above, this email account was used with the limited purpose of receiving Derogaga's book manuscript. None of the email exchanges used the account were in any way deceptive. Then why use it then if it wasn't used for deception? Why not use your government provided email? Because it was business related, wasn't it? AUSA Cruel did not create the account or decide on a name associated with it. She signed each of the messages sent with her own name. Derogatis at all time fully was aware he was communicating with the USA. Of course, he knew it. I don't know what game that you guys are playing. You know you did it through deceptive purposes. You know you were trying to be sneaky. You know it. Stop it. AUSA assigned to the R. Kelly investigation. The government's communication with Derogagis and Derogagis' manuscript were disclosed to defendant prior to trial. And the government has advised that all email exchange uses using the private account were produced to the defendant and that no other private email account was used in connection with the investigation or prosecution in this case. We don't know that for real. We don't know if that's the case. You don't know if there's another account out there, somebody else's name, somebody else's username. We don't know because y'all could do this. You could do something else. We don't know if you have friends someplace else and communicating with Derek Geiges. We don't know because if you could do this, you could do other things. Trust me, I don't trust y'all. Defendant offers no legal authority, and the government is aware of none supporting their efforts to conduct a wide-ranging fishing expedition in the hopes of turning up evidence in some kind of government misconduct. Defendant has not come close to establishing the evidence related because y'all hit the damn evidence. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to have. I'm acting like I have Tourette's. I'm jumping up and saying some stuff in here, but okay. We're not dumb, okay? We're not dumb. We know that you're up to something. You did it in New York. You're going to try to do it over here. I know you guys have some dirty tactics that you're doing. Y'all dirty. Dirty, I tell you. We know you're not clean. Your hand is not clean at all. Expose them all, Lord. Expose them all. Expose them. Defendant has not come close to establishing that the evidence related to the use of private email account for a limited purpose in this case could significantly help in uncovering admissible evidence, aiding witness preparation, collaborating in testimony, and assisting impeachment, and a rebuttal, much less that it would enable defendant to substantially alter the quantum of proof in his favor. Finally, defendant also seeks any and all records communication between any members of prosecution team with the potential witness in this case not memorized in an official government report. So unsurprisingly, once again, defendant has offered no legal authority for this broad request and for the reason discussed above. The government's use of private email account does not justify it. Guys, oh my God. Oh. They're not supposed to be using private email addresses to conduct business for a case. Period. I don't care who you are. Look at the president and all that. Look at Hillary's thing, private email. Come on. One of the things we're told as government employee, you're not supposed to use your private email for personal or for business. You can't interchange using your personal email address for anything at all. So I don't know why they acting like this. Why they trying to think to make us believe that they didn't have any kind of like secrecy thing going on. Oh my God. Oh, talk about corruptions to the highest. Lord have mercy. Corruption, corruption, corruption. Unsurprisingly, once again, the defendant offers no legal authority for this broad request, and for the reason discussed above, the government use of private email does not justify it. As stated above, the government has already produced to the defendant all reports and grand jury testimony in its possession, reflecting the relevant statement and potential government witnesses. Even though pretrial disclosure of such material was required under neither the Jenks Act nor Federal Rule Criminal Procedure, Crim P 16A2, which exempt from disclosed report, memorandum, and other internal government document made by the government agent in connection with investigation or prosecution case, where, as here, the relevant official report and transcript have been disclosed. Nothing is required more. Contrary to defendant's suggestion, as a general matter, members of the prosecution team are not obligated to prepare a report of each and every contact or communication they have with a potential trial witness. What is required is that relevant statement of witnesses are preserved and produced to defendant no later than the witness has testified. No later than after the witness has testified. Here, even though the government has no intention of calling Derogatis as a witness, it produced to defendants its communication with Derogatis, and the manuscript he provided to in the abundance of caution. The government has fulfilled its obligation under applicable law by providing all records and relevant witness statements in its possession prior to trial, and it recognized it continued duty to expeditiously relay any new relevant statement made by its witness. Defendant are entitled to nothing more. Accordingly, defendant motion to compel discovery related to communication with Jim Derogatis should be denied. Defendants had established no legal basis for obtaining additional discovery related to scheduling texts. Likewise, defendant has not come close to establishing the basis of obtaining additional discovery based on the text messages exchanged between AUSA Cruel and Minor 1. To begin, none of the information defendant seeks is discoverable under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure and the Jenkins Act or Brady or Giglio. To the contrary, as discussed above, the government has produced all relevant statement in its possession made by the witnesses in intent to call in its case in chief, including to any extent they contain relevant statement in this text messages at issue in defendant's motion is as well as evidence in its possession that may be viewed as exploratory and impeaching of its witness or material to the preparation of the defendant defense. Nothing more is required. As was the case with defendant request with respect to Derogatis' email, defendant's motion for additional discovery related to communication with Minor 1 is grounded in the contention that the text messages between AUSA Cruel and Minor 1 produced by the government suggest that AUSA may have attempted improper influence Minor 1 testimony in this case. The contention is refuted by substance of the subject text messages, as well as the fact that at the time of subject text, Minor 1 had already testified to the grand jury. As as reflected in the text themselves, they relate almost exclusively to scheduling of phone calls, meeting, and the trial. Exhibit A. For example, in the first text message on July 7, 2019, AUSA crew sought out to set up a meeting with Minor One, noting that she was texting because Chad, the agent, who was then on vacation, had indicated that Minor One wanted to meet with that week. See Exhibit A, infra at 16. All of the texts that followed on July 7th, 8th, and 9th discussed the time and location of the proposed meeting. Similarly, when on January 17, 2020, Minor One told AUSA crew that she had some upcoming things to update on and agreed to the meeting following week. AUSA crew said that she would check and let her know what date worked for her and Amelia, a case agent. See Exhibit A, infra at 20. The 19 texts, the 19 texts that followed concerned the date and location of the meeting. See ID infra at 21 and 20 through 23. Moreover, the texts generally indicate that the phone calls and meeting being scheduled were not private meeting or calls between AUSA crew and Minor One, but rather meetings and calls in which an agent and other office representative would also be present. In the text, AUSA crew repeatedly made reference in needing to reach out to an agent to be on the call or at the meeting before AUSA crew, could speak with Minor One. Indeed, many of the texts mention government agent or employee who would participate by name. In others, AUSA crew used the term we in discussing logistics. For example, when AUSA crew texted Minor One on August 21st, 2019, she asked whether or not she was free for the call from me and Felice and USA Attorney's Office Victim/Witness Coordinator. See Exhibit A, infra at 20. Similarly, when Minor One texts AUSA crew to see if she could take a call on February 24th, 2020, AUSA crew answers, sure, but I have to get Amelia or Melissa, case agent, on the line. Let me check if they are free. See ID infra at 22. Defendants suggest that the AUSA crew's text message communication with Minor One and or her recording of Minor One's phone number in her telephone contact under the name Boss Baby was improper or equally baseless. Although there is no requirement that AUSA or his agent document every non-substantive contact they have with a potential witness, AUSA crew preserved all her case-related text communication in screenshot, and all of them have been produced to defendants. As for the case of the term boss baby, or BB for short, there is nothing improper in AUSA crew's identifying Minor One in her phone as boss baby rather than using the victim's true name, nor is there anything improper AUSA crew limited use of the nickname in referring to or communicating with Minor One. Finally, defendant claimed that Minor One sharing photograph with a case agent and AUSA crew indicates that formation of an unduly close relationship which have then led to improper influence of Minor One's testimony. This claim is baseless. The photos in question were professional photos of Minor One, which Minor One shared with many people in celebration of her joy of being an expected mother. The reaction AUSA crew shared reflect nothing more than sincere happiness for a person who has suffered a great deal, but who was now experiencing great personal joy. AUSA crew spontaneous reaction was natural. How is it natural? You're supposed to be doing the work. Oh Jesus. Natural in no way improper. In some, the text messages produced to defendant in no way suggest any impropriety or provide a basis for any further discovery on the subject, and the defendant's effort to attack the government personally and discourage any testifying victim should be to not be countenance. Defendant are free to explore the issue on basis of issue of bias in this cross-examination of minor one, and they have no need for additional discovery to do so, particularly in light of the vast quantity of information and document already produced to them in discovery and available to them through other means. Accordingly, defendant motion for additional discovery related to the communication in minor one should be denied. In conclusion, for this reason state above, the court should deny defendant motion to compel discovery and supplemental motion to compel discovery. John Walsh, whatever, blah, 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 blah. All right.
You gonna read those footnotes?
Are you going to read them?
You see how you do?
She's going to read the cliff notes and the exhibit for you guys, okay?
All right, let me scroll back up to page 1. Let's see.
Okay, what I'm going to do, y'all, I'm going to share it with you guys, those messages.
You want me to read the footnotes first before you share?
Yeah, I'm just going to share the messages with them.
Okay. So on page 1, it says the previous version of this response indicated that AUSA Cruel text minor one using her personal cell phone. AUSA Cruel did not exchange text messages with minor one using her personal cell phone. AUSA Cruel only communicated with minor one using her government issued cell phone. See page 6 below. During the pretrial conference held on August the 3rd, 2022, defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly orally joined McDavid's motion to compel discovery. Subsequently, in a separate motion for discovery, R254, Kelly joined McDavid's supplemental motion for discovery. Let me see. Page 3 of the original submission provided figures representing the volume of discovery produced to defendants. Upon further review, those numbers have been corrected as follows. Collectively, the government has produced to defendants approximately 11,959 files, 12,451 files in the original, including documents, images, spreadsheets, audio, video recordings, totaling 49.3 gigabytes, as well as 8,488 files, 7,996 files in the original, totaling nearly 12 gigabytes of material, which were received from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York on March the 8th, 2022. AUSA Crowell was assigned to the case while working at the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office on November the 5th, 2020. AUSA Crowell left the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office to care for a family member suffering from cancer. Subsequently, she joined the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Connecticut. So she's just moving around. Derek Goddess has made public statements regarding his communications with the prosecutors, indicating the limited nature of their contacts. See, and they have a link for the Chicago Tribune. None of the members of the current prosecution team were assigned to this case when the email account used to communicate with their guidance was created. The current team members first learned of the above emails as a result of the government's review of HSI's correspondence records for potential disclosure to the defendants in advance of trial. Because these documents' nature and origin were unclear, the documents were not immediately produced when they were first discovered in May 2022. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Because the documents' nature and origin were unclear, the documents were not immediately produced when they were first discovered in May 2022. Let's see. Any other footnotes? Defendant's inflammatory and wholly careless suggestion that the departures of AUSA Cruel and Agent Amelia Molina were due to misconduct is baseless and improper. In fact, as discussed above, AUSA Cruel left the office to care for a family member suffering from cancer. Agent Molina was transferred to another location as a result of a promotion.
Promotion, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all the footnotes.
That's all the footnotes on that.
Yes.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. We got more. So we got more. We got more. We got more. Of course, we got more for y'all. Hold on. Looks like there's been another reply. He just replied just now.
Oh.
Y'all, they going in now today. They're going in. Hold on a second, guys. I gotta go get the other one. Where did it go? Where did it go? Hold on, y'all. Sorry. They always gotta mess up things. Yeah. Okay, there it is. There it is. Yeah, hold on. I gotta send her this as well, because we gotta just hold on, y'all. Beau Bridley and them, they responded to that. They are no joke, y'all. Hold on. We got the response. Read the one at the page 2 one, and then we're gonna do this one next. Are you there?
I'm here. You gonna show the text messages or not?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. We got so much, y'all. So much information. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's an overload over here. It's an overload. Hold on. I'm gonna show the messages. Hold on. It's an overload. Lord have mercy. Jesus. Feel the fits all around me. Oh my God. All right. All right. Here we go, y'all. We're going to show you text messages. They're going to read it for y'all. She's going to read it while I'll show it. We need a fence to be built all around us. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. You ready? Go ahead, reader.
Okay. So on 7/7/19, ASA Cruel sent a text message to Minor One and said, Chad, the case agent, told me you wanted to meet with me this week. He's on vacation, so that's why I texted you directly. Are you free tomorrow afternoon? Minor One loves the message. It says, yes, Angel, I am.
Angel.
Yes.
Not Officer Cruel, not Agent
Exactly.
Cruel, but Angel? Okay. That's very familiar. Okay.
So
Okay.
Cruel says to Minor One, what's best for you, downtown or Oakbrook Terrace or someplace else? Minor One says, Oakbrook is good for me anytime in the afternoon. Cruel says to Minor One, great, let's say 3 o'clock at the tower. You can text me when you get there and I'll come get you. Minor One loves the message again. Sounds good. AUSA Cruel to Minor One says, looking forward to seeing you. Minor One says to Cruel, yes, same. Cruel sends Minor One a text message on 7/8/19 and says, hey, when you get to the tower today, just stay in your car and text me, and we'll come to your car. We want to bring you through a different entrance today, okay? Minor
Wait.
One,
Question for you. How does she know what car she's driving?
right, there's been some sidebar conversations. You already know.
All right, go ahead.
So Minor One says, sounds good. Minor One said, can you share the address, please? On 7/9/19, I guess they shared the contact info, which it was redacted. So on August the 21st, 2019, Cruel sends Minor One a text message and says, hey, it's Angel. Free for a call from me and Felice, the USAO victim witness coordinator. Minor One says, hello there. Can you give me like 45 minutes? I'm out to lunch. Cruel says, okay, what about 3:45? Minor One says, yes, I'll be ready at that time. Cruel says, great, we'll call you then. Minor One loves the message again. On 11/18/2019, Cruel sends Minor One a message and says, hi there. Just wondering if you are free for a phone call tomorrow. Nothing to worry about. Just checking in. We can work around your schedule if you're working tomorrow. And Cruel says, hope things are good with you, with a smiley face. On 11/19/2019, Minor One says, hello there. I'm headed back from LA and I'm back in Chicago at 9 a.m. Maybe I can take the call on my way to work. Thanks for the well wishes and talk soon. Cruel says, okay, text me when you're free and we'll try to make that work. Minor One says, okay, and if not, after work. Cruel says, whichever is easy for you. Have a great day. Cruel says, sorry I missed your call earlier. When do you get off work? Cruel says, Melissa's number is, and it's redacted, on 12/5/2019. Minor One says, I know we discussed a tentative date for trial, but can you remind me of the date, please? Cruel says, April the 27th, 2020 is the tentative date. The trial is expected to last 3 weeks. Minor One says, thank you. Cruel says, anytime, BB. Minor one says on 12/14/19, hi there. Did you try calling? Cruel says, no, that wasn't me. On January 16, 2020, Minor one sends Cruel a message and says, hello there. Just wondering if the trial gets pushed back. What's the time frame that we would know if it's being pushed back? Cruel responded the next day and said, we'll find out for sure when we go to court next on February the 13th. My best guess is the fall. Let me know if you have any trips planned or if there are any dates I should avoid when rescheduling. Minor one says, okay, thanks. I was just checking in, but I will have some upcoming things to update on leading up to that. Is everything going okay? Minor one says, it's been a while since we've met. Cruel says, yes, things are good. Why don't we meet sometime next week? We can update you on things. I always like seeing you in person with an exclamation mark.
Whoa!
Minor one says, I agree. That works well for me. Cruel says, we can work around your work schedule. What works best for you? Minor one says, I'm usually done with work by 6 in the city and off on Mondays. Cruel says, I'll check with Amelia and we'll let you know. Minor one said, perfect. Minor one, I'm just grateful that the others have taken the spotlight in the media, laughing out loud.
Dang!
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Cruel says, I bet. I was thinking the same thing.
Dang!
Cruel says, Wednesday works best for me and Amelia. We can meet when you get off work. Minor one says, sounds good. Cruel says, we can meet whenever you want, even at the coffee shop or wherever if we talk softly. Or we can meet in the same place as last time. But I know that place has bad memories for you. We can meet in my building, but parking is hard downtown. Amelia could probably pick you up.
Pick
Really?
you up?
Right. She gonna pick you up.
Dang.
Okay. Minor one says, yes, I prefer a coffee shop or something along those lines. Cruel says, okay, we can make that happen. Any particular neighborhood in the city? I can't remember where your job is located. Minor one says, I'm located in, which is redacted, so I'm flexible. Cruel says, cool. Let us know if you have a place in mind. Otherwise, we can just Google the nearest Starbucks or something. Minor one says, okay, let me think. The Starbucks right across the street from me isn't private at all. On January 22nd, 2020, Cruel sends her a message and says, another option is to meet at the tower again if that's convenient for you. Is that on your way home? Minor one, I would prefer a little more relaxed setting. I like the coffee shop idea. Cruel says, okay, that's perfectly fine. Minor one shared the location. Cruel says, that works. We'll see you there a little after 6. Minor one, okay, that sounds good. So Starbucks is less crowded than that location in the evenings, I see. So I'm here, which is right next door too, and it was redacted. Cruel says, okay, I'm on my way. On February the 24th, 2020, Minor one says, hello there. Can you take a call? Cruel says, sure, but I have to get Amelia or Melissa on the line. Let me check if they're free. She said,
Hold on, y'all. My readers, she got something going on. Just bear with her. Yeah, real comfy. Real comfy, y'all. That's why we want to show you guys everything. We're going to be an open book for y'all. An open book, 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 an open book. She's busy. She's busy. Come on now, Rita. This is good. Yeah, Beau just replied, so we're gonna read the reply too, y'all. We got lot going on now.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we didn't hear you before, but what are you saying now?
Oh my goodness. I'm all the way down to the 6/10/2020
No,
message.
go back to where you see me showing right here, right
Let me
there.
see.
Melissa, let me know you're online. No problem. We'll talk in 2 minutes. Okay, that's where we're at.
We'll talk. Okay. Minor one says perfect, very brief. 3/5/2020, minor one. Hello. I take lunch at 1:45 if you all available to give me an update. Hope all is well. Cruel says hi. Unfortunately, I'm in a meeting at this time. Maybe after work we can call. Minor one. Okay, no problem. On 6/1/2020, minor one sends her a message and says, hello there. Hope all is well. I have a question for you whenever you're available. It should be very brief. Cruel says, sure, I'm out of town, but I can arrange a call tomorrow with you and Amelia. Does tomorrow afternoon work? Minor one. Yes, that's fine. Enjoy. Cruel says to minor one, we'll call at 1:30, okay? Minor one says yes. ASA Cruel says, I'm sorry. Minor one, I fell asleep laughing out loud. Yes, if you're available. On 6/10/2020, minor one sent a message and said, good morning. When you have a moment, can we do a call? Can you do a call with me and Chris, which is minor one's attorney, just to explain everything you and I discussed per our last conversation so that we're all on the same page? Cruel says, sure, let me check with Amelia. Minor one says, okay, great. Cruel says, Amelia and I are free anytime today. Is there a time that works best for you and Chris? She said, we're both free now if you'd like to get it out the way. Cruel says, okay, let me try to get Amelia on the line. Then I'll call Chris and you last. Minor one loves the message. 7/30/2020. Minor one says,
I'm
minor
sorry.
one,
Let me
my,
let me mute myself making a hocking noise. Hold on.
minor one says, hey there, quick question. Diana has been reaching out to me, but I'm not really sure of her. In your opinion, is that a conflict of interest? It takes me no never mind. It makes me no never mind either way. Cruel to minor one says, hello, it's totally up to you about whether you want to talk to her or not. If you want to talk with us about it, we can set up a call for tomorrow. Minor one says, never mind, laughing out loud. Thank you. Cruel says, okay, take care. Minor one. Did
Hold
Amelia
on, hold
share
on, hold on. Y'all know who Diana is, right?
Diana Copeland?
Copeland. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
So minor one says, did Amelia share the pictures? Cruel says, just one. The green outfit. So beautiful. You are glowing. I'm very happy and excited for you. Minor one. Thanks again. And that's it for the text messages.
What do y'all think of the conversation?
Do you think it's professional?
Do you think, guys, the conversation is professional? Hold on a second, guys. I got something stuck in my teeth and I can't stand it. Talk to them, please.
I'm putting my phone on the charger. Hold on just a second.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta get my dental floss because I can't stand stuff stuck in my teeth. I apologize. I won't do it on live, okay? I won't do it on live. That's nasty. My question is, why would she be asking Angela Cruel if it was a conflict of interest to talk to Diana Copeland. Isn't that something she should ask her attorney? She had an attorney. What do y'all think?
Sorry, I had to plug my phone up.
What do y'all think about that? Do you think if she asked Angel Cruel whether or not it was conflict of interest to talk to to Diana Copeland, shouldn't she be asking her attorney that question? Not some Cruel?
Definitely, that's what she paying him for.
Yeah.
And then this is my question: if Cruel and Homeland Security and everybody else is trying to be transparent, first of all, why you make that fake email, which we all had that question. But two, why couldn't you just save her in your phone as minor one?
Mm-hmm.
Why you calling the boss baby and BB?
Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, y'all.
And secondly, it seemed like they were on some type of personal level because I mean, this is a serious case. We know you were pregnant, but I mean, was there really a need for you to send them a photo? They've been meeting up with you. They know how you look.
It was too personal to me. It was just too
Yeah,
personal.
it just seems personal.
Too personal.
And you loving the text messages and everything. Come on now. What they saying in the chat? What they
They
think about
said
the
this was all
situation?
happening. Listen to this. It says here, Tamiria said all this was happening while she was still writing Mr. Kelly and sending him money, according to Tasha K.
Mm,
And
mm,
then
mm.
Beautiful says, why was she still going to see Robin knowing she was helping prosecution? The whole thing is questionable. She is a government witness and claiming abuse, but still visiting him.
It
Thank
doesn't make
you,
sense.
beautiful dark. Yes, beautifully to be dark. Yes, definitely. That y'all, this whole case needs to be thrown out. Too much crooked stuff going on.
Too much corruption.
All right, go ahead read on page 2 so we can go on to Beau's thing. We got a lot to read to you guys, man. It's a little bit too much, but come on.
Let me know if you hear static. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
because I gotta go. I gotta be off of here by 6:30 because gotta go pick up the man. I do. I
Uh,
gotta go pick him up from the airport.
okay, so this one is the United States of America versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka R. Kelly, Daryl McDavid, Milton Brown, aka June Brown. Government's motion for leave to file instanter corrected response to defendant Daryl McDavid's motion to compel discovery. The United States of America, through its attorney John R. Louse Jr., United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, hereby requests leave to file a corrected response to defendant Daryl McDavid's motion to compel discovery. One, on August the 3rd, 2022, McDavid filed a motion to compel discovery, seeking extensive discovery concerning communications between AUSA Angel Cruel and author Jim DeRogatis. On August the 5th, McDavid filed a supplemental motion to compel discovery, seeking documents and information concerning communications between AUSA Cruel and other members of the prosecution team and the alleged victims of defendant Kelly's offenses. Two, on August the 10th, 2022, the government filed its consolidated response to these motions, R 265. Three, the government has since noted an inadvertent error contained within its consolidated response. Page 6 of the original submission indicated that AUSA Cruel text minor one using her personal cell phone. AUSA Cruel did not exchange text messages with minor one using her personal cell phone and only communicated with minor one using her government issued cell phone. Additionally, the government has since noted a mathematical error. Page 3 of the original submission provided figures representing the volume of discovery produced to defendants. Upon further review of those numbers have been corrected as follows. Collectively, the government has produced to defendants approximately 11,959 files, 12,451 files in the original, including documents, images, spreadsheets, and audio-video recordings totaling 49.3 gigabytes, as well as 8,488 files, which is 7,996 files in the original, totaling nearly 12 gigabytes of materials, which were received from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York on March the 8th, 2022. The government now respectfully seeks leave of the court to file a corrected response reflecting the above amendment attached here as Exhibit A. So what the hell was that? So that was in the footnote too, I believe. It said it was corrected.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Check your email. Check your email.
Okay.
Y'all, this is a lot. This is like draining. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest today, y'all. And trial is next week.
I didn't get anything yet.
I just send it to you. You didn't get it?
Nope. The last thing I received was at 3:27.
There should be one 550, 456.
Nope.
Should be 3 documents I just sent you.
Okay, just send it again, please.
Lady, come on, you're getting on my nerve.
I don't have it, ma'am.
Go out and come back in. Hit refresh.
Come on now. I did that. Let me do it again. Nope.
The government's trying to keep us from getting the information to each other.
They probably hacked my
Will you
email
stop
too.
it? Will you stop it, government? We're just letting the people know the truth, what y'all doing. Y'all dirty blanky blank blank. Gonna do it again. You're gonna get it twice now. I send it again. Perspective, I'm sending it to you too. You tell me if you got it, because it might be her that has the problem. Perspective, tell me yay, nay if you got it.
Don't be talking about me while I'm gone. It wasn't me.
Perspective, check and see if you got it too. Say yay or nay.
Look, did you try to send it again?
I sent it twice. What the heck?
Okay, let me. Okay, now it came through.
Oh, now she's talking about. Now I put you in there, Perspective. Now so she see it.
Hey, Perspective can read.
Perspective is at work, I think. Perspective, can you read?
It came in at 4:58. What time is it now?
4:59.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I send you one at 4:56.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I got proof. You want me to say? Yeah, but I don't want people to see who you are.
So which one you want to read first?
Perspective says she's driving.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else that could read? Who's available to read? Because we're tired over here. Anybody available to read? Anybody available to read? Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Y'all some punks, man. Y'all don't want to read. Tamiria, you could come. with all the background noise.
Oh, it's okay now,
Look, I'm in need right now. I'm begging can't be choosy, and I'm begging right now.
huh?
All right, we go ahead and read it.
Which one you want to do first?
Let's see the first one here. Let me look at it. I gotta look at my phone, my thing here. See which one is easy. Oh my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Please help your child, my Lord. Help your child, my Lord. Why does it do that? You know what? I hate what's the name products. Cause I get so confused. Let's do the main one. She said, "Don't be trying to use me." I love you, Tamiria. Look, Lady Coltrane says it's too loud here. Lady Coltrane, what about you? What about you? What about you? Tamira, you know you're loved. You're not used. You're loved. Hey, wait a minute. I got somebody. Uh, Pretty Brown Eyes. I'm gonna send it to you. Pretty Brown Eyes, come on, girlie. Pretty Brown Eyes. I know you're in the bushes. Don't be trying to hide from me. Pretty Brown Eyes, come out the bushes. All right, Pretty Brown Eyes. I'm sending it to you right now. All right, I just sent it to you, Pretty Brown Eyes. Don't be hiding in the bushes. She said, "You're not calling me out later." Yeah, where's Pretty Brown Eyes? Okay, go ahead.
You want to read this?
Go ahead, read that one, the main one, and then
Well,
we'll
the
suffer
other two
through
are
this.
short.
We'll suffer through this. Okay, let's do this together. Go ahead. You go first.
Okay. United States of America versus Daryl McDavid. Reply in support of motion to compel disclosure. Comes now defendant Darren McDavid by and through his attorneys, Beau B. Bridley and Vadam Glossman, and hereby submits the following reply to the government's response to his motion to compel disclosure. Introduction. While long on self aggrandizement and indignation, the government's
It
response.
sounds like a cuss. Look, it sounds like a cuss word. Look like a cuss word to me, but in
I
a
think
proper
it
way.
is. The government's response to Mr. McDavid's motion is woefully short on both substance and evidence. The government indignantly decrees what they call a fishing expedition into possible government misconduct, but provides neither affidavit nor agent report to support a single factual claim they make. Apparently, because they are the government, they believe that this court can simply take their word for it. Unfortunately for them, the law does not work like that. See example.
Bam!
Oh, yes. See example United States versus White, 492F, 3D, 380. The rest of the citation. The prosecutors request that the court, quote unquote, take his word that the evidence was not favorable to defendants because it would effectively permit the government to ride roughshod over the accused, stripping the excess of both sword and shield. United States versus Budzak, and they had the rest of the citation there. Holding that when a defendant established that the sought after discovery is material, the district court should not merely defer to government assertions that discovery will be fruitless. The government does not say in its response that it does not possess the material necessary to comply with Mr. Davis' discovery request. Instead, the government insists that they should not have to because they believe they have the authority to simply say that the government actors did nothing wrong and thereby prevent further inquiry. The age-old problem of the fox in the hen house may be lost on the government, but it remains clear as day before this court. The government does not get fiat that its officers and agents did nothing wrong and thereby prevent any actual facts and evidence from being disclosed. That is because the prosecutor's role must transcend that of an adversary. They are the representative not of an ordinary part to a controversy, but of a sovereignty whose interest in a criminal prosecution is not that it shall will a case, but that justice shall be done. United States versus Bagley. It is notable that the government makes no effort to demonstrate the lack of misconduct by AUSA crew with evidence, which would be easy to do if there were none. Instead, they hide behind the hollow claim that they should not have to provide any evidence in response at all, and that their bare explanations without evidentiary support should be accepted. The government apparently hopes that this court will be so impressed by their august status and government actors that it will not require them to provide any evidentiary explanation whatsoever for what any rational person with common sense will call obviously inappropriate and questionable behavior. Only one can imagine how the government will respond if a criminal defendant took on a fake name and a surreptitious email account and used it to conduct personal contact potential witnesses. When he declared he did nothing wrong or that he does not intend to call the witness after the communication is over, does anyone think the government gladly would accept this affirmation? It is criminal if a criminal defendant texts a vital witness with a strangely familiar or intimate definer in his phone and kept secret the content of his discussions. Would the government say this is perfectly fine and bears no further evidence or inquiry? Obviously not. The government is not entitled to any more special treatment than they will give anyone else, and Mr. David will not let them claim otherwise. In sum, the government responds to evidence that any reasonable person would identify as mysterious, unprofessional, and obviously outside the bounds of what is expected from a conscientious assistant U.S. attorney who is following standard procedures by saying, in essence, we should not have to provide evidence. We need not explain ourselves. If we simply say, without affidavit or report, that a thing is
You disappeared again. I don't see your face moving. Hello? Guys, do y'all hear her? I don't see her thing moving, so she's not talking. Okay, thank you guys. I guess she'll be back in a second. Just bear with me. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the no. Yeah, you see this dirtiness, the dirty dirt that they trying to do? They're trying to say, oh, we don't have to give you that information. There's no need for you to have that information. Yes, it is. Jim Derrigagas is the main one, y'all. He was the one that gave the tape back in 2008. He's the one that got all the people together. He's the one that talked to Geronda. He talked to everybody, y'all. So how is he not a vital person in these cases? He been following R. Kelly for how many years? Over 30 years. Trying to come after Rob, trying to make some money off of him. It's a mess. That's right, Dorothy. It's a mess, a hot mess. Okay, here she comes. She's back. Welcome back.
Thank you. So what's the last part you heard? Is it
I
okay?
heard you gotta come back all the way back up to let's go back up to really on page 3. Government evidence is reasonable. Da, 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 da.
In where it says in some,
Yeah, in some.
the government responds to evidence that any reasonable person would identify as mysterious, unprofessional, and obviously outside of the bounds of what is expected from a conscientious assistant U.S. attorney who is following standard procedures by saying, in essence, we should not have to provide evidence. We need not explain ourselves. If we simply say without affidavit or report that a thing is permissible, then it is. Unfortunately for the government, there's no defined command theory of jurisprudence.
Your
Jurisprudence.
phone is going in. Your phone is kind of very, very scratchy. I don't know why.
Okay, you read and I'll come back in.
Okay. In sum, the government's response to evidence that any reasonable person would identify as mysterious, unprofessional, and obviously outside the bounds of what is expected from a conscious assistant U.S. attorney who is following standard procedure by saying, in essence, we should not have to provide evidence. We need not explain ourselves. If if we simply say without affidavits or report that a thing is permissible, then it is. Unfortunately, the government, there is no divide command theory in prejudiciary producing. A thing is not permissible just because they say so. And when their actions suggest bias and explicit communication with witnesses, they need to respond with evidence, which, like everybody else, just like everybody else. The Supreme Court has long held that to ensure that justice is done, it is imperative that the fraction of the court be compulsory process be available for the production of evidence needed either by prosecution or by the defense. United States versus Nixon. That is what Mr. McDavid asked the court to do now, to ensure a fair and just trial, to compelling the government to produce evidence that they do not deny that they have and is clearly relevant to Mr. David's defense. Jim Deragaga's communication. You ready?
Yeah, let's see how long this lasts.
Jim Deragagas. That's where we're at.
Jim Deragada's communications. The government has found themselves in a precarious position where in the email communication between AUSA Cruel and Jim Deragadas, the government's explanation for these communications and Deragadas' recollection of what transpired all seem at odds. Their response to Mr. McDavid's motion to compel creates more questions and concerns than answers regarding the information sought. We ought to be grounded in actual evidence, such as an affidavit, is wholly absent from their response and instead replaced with conclusory statements to which the government would not obviously object if they were ever provided by the defense. The documentary evidence makes clear that it was AUSA Crew that reached out to Jim Deragadas. In her first email to Deragadas, it was AUSA Crew as Demetrius Slavinsky thanking him for speaking with her that day. She goes on to say that Deragadas can send her the manuscript at this email address, PiePiper312, suggesting that the need to use a covert email had already been discussed during their previous undocumented conversation. No one who was contacted out of the blue by a reporter starts a conversation with, "Thanks for speaking to me." If that person called you and began with "thanks," makes no logical sense.
Okay, you sound scratchy. I just asked them, you sounded, I thought it was just me, you sounded scratchy, but you do sound scratchy again.
Oh,
Now you
okay.
don't. You're good right now.
I hear the scratches now.
Do you have on a headphone?
No.
Because it sounds like you rubbing something. Stop rubbing the phone. Stop rubbing the app, the computer, whatever you're rubbing. Stop
It's
rubbing it.
laying down. You
Stop
read.
feeling on
I'm
the
gonna go.
computer.
You read. I'll be right back.
She feeling where were you? Where did you stop at? I don't. Hello. Where did you stop at? Where did she stop at?
The top of page 5.
Okay. It appears that from the text, it appears from the text of the email that AUSA Cruel contacted Deragagas first. No evidence provided by the government in the form of an affidavit or report saying otherwise. If their position were true, the evidence would show it. Yet they chose to withhold that evidence from Mr. McDavid and from the court. Mr. McDavid asked the question why. The government baselessly claims that their August 1st, 2022 discovery letter that the Pied Piper 312 email account was created out of Mr. Deragaga's concern about sharing an advanced copy of his book. See Exhibit A. Yet, in the statement he made to the press after McDavid's motion was filed, Deragagas indicated nothing about any concern of his requiring a secret email. He does not indicate that he suggested any such email address as a pseudonym were necessary. Even he characterizes the use of the clandestine. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. My husband calling. Sorry, guys. Um, my bad, my bad. Okay, we were at yet in the statement he made to the press, Mr. McDavid's motion was filed. Deragagas indicate nothing about any concern in his requiring a secret email. He does not indicate that he suggested any such email address or a pseudonym where necessary. Even he characterizes the use of the clandestine email account as skullduggery on the part of the government. He says that they use a weird email. Obviously, given his response, he did not ask them to do that. That means that the letter sent to the defense regarding this evidence contained false information. Who is this? Jazzy Life. Drop the link and send me the motion. Who are you? Who is this, y'all? Who is this person? I've never seen this person before. Who are you? She said, drop the link and send me the motion. I've never seen you in here before. I have never seen you in here before, so I'm not dropping anything. Gotta be at least familiar with who you are. Look, Black Beauty already said no. She said no. Okay. That was you? That's you? Oh, you and your daughter's community. Okay, I'm gonna send you an email. You see? Hold on, y'all. Let me send it to her. I'm sending it to your email. She's gonna send me stuff. I drop the email. Like, I don't know who you are, girl. Please. Right, popping up, a stranger popping up in here talking about drop the link and send me the motion. What? No. Okay, we got it. Oh God. All right, let me finish reading this. Skull Dodger. Obviously, in his response, he did not ask them to do that. That means that the letter sent to the defense regarding the evidence containing false information that calls out the further discovery. It does not justify the government's suggestion that no one should ask more questions or get answers to the obvious inquiry this raises. Clearly, the government has decided to shift blame for these inexplicable communication away from the AUSA crew to Deragagas. Yet, that shift is not supported by Deragagas himself. See United States versus Ott. Holding the court are entitled to expect candor from the attorney that represented the United States and reversing conviction where the prosecution failed to correct a material misrepresentation to the court. The prosecution has a special duty to not to mislead. Oh my God. You know what? This girl's getting on my nerve today. I'm trying to read and she talking about link. Okay. I'm reading, y'all. I can't look at the screen and read. Look what I'm reading from. Look what I'm reading. I'm reading from this, okay? I cannot look. Look, I'm looking like this when I'm reading. I can't look up here, okay? Y'all disturbing me now. Let me read. You trying to help? Go ahead, Perspective. Go ahead. Come on in, Perspective. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to I didn't see your send the link. I saw Tamiria. Okay, here's the link, y'all. Come on in. Cause y'all really, here we go. She's still Lisa Van Allen. Go ahead. I'm on page 6 of the first one, the one that says Maine. I'm on page 6, the beginning. You're muted if you're talking.
You on page 6 of what, Sylvia?
On the one that says Maine. You're muted if you're talking.
Okay, hold on. You on page 6 of what, Sylvia?
Can you turn it down, please? Oh, there she go with the messed up.
If you're talking. Okay, hold on.
We're gonna have to have a class for her, etiquette on how to read.
Okay. Ooh, Sylvia, don't do that.
She come in with background noise.
Can you hear me now, Sylvia?
We can hear you.
Okay, don't do that. Now you said I'm on the you said Maine. Okay, the main one. Okay, I'm trying now. Look. Now you said which page you say? Hello?
Page 6 on the main.
The
main one.
Okay, and where I'm still even if?
Start from the top, the beginning.
Okay. Candor, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Candor from attorney represented the United States in reversing conviction where the prosecution failed to correct a material misrepresenting to the trial court. See United States versus Universita. The prosecution has a special duty not to mislead. Even if it were true that Demetrius Slavovsky was conjured up in an effort to spoil, these words. God is concerned about releasing the manuscript of his book 2 months prior to its release. it was not according to him. There seems to be no plausible explanation for why the bizarre email account would somehow resolve this issue. The only way this explanation makes sense is if AUSA Coral believes that they, by creating Demetrius Slavoskinsky, whatever, she would not otherwise have to produce these communications to the defense. Even the current team members of the prosecution seems to be admittedly confused by these communications, noting that their nature and origin was unclear. Um, and they had good reason to be confused, as it violated their own procedures. Okay. Um,
Perspective that you take over.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Stating that any communication by the DOJ personal with the media relating to the pending criminal investigation or case must be approved in advance by the appropriate United States Attorney or Assistant Attorney General. 1-7-210. DOJ personnel must report to their designated media representative any contact with a member of the media about a DOJ matter. And if it concerns suspected, classified, or grand jury subject matter, they must immediately notify a supervisor. Surely, if the government themselves are perplexed with AUSA Cruel's inexplicable surreptitiousness, certainly Mr. McDavid's request is understandable. If this assistant U.S. attorney, who had contact with every witness in this case, was engaged in improper communication with a potential witness, which Mr. Derogatis was and is, he is part of the chain of custody for the video they want to introduce at trial. Then Mr.
Bam!
McDavid has...
Hold on. This is what we were saying. Bam! Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay.
I had to say that. Nah. He is part of the chain of custody of the tape. Bam! Okay, sorry.
Okay. He is part of the chain of custody for the video they want to introduce at trial. Then Mr. McDavid has every right to know that, as it raises the likelihood of improper influence on witnesses. Furthermore, if AUSA Cruel did nothing wrong and this was all perfectly legitimate, then why does the government object to the request from the defense to find out if this was approved in advance according to their own procedures? If this was all authorized in advance, they could simply prove that it was an out and into this. They could prove that it was an out and into this. Instead, they choose the option of refuse and stonewall. Mr. McDavid again asked the question, why? There also seems to be no explanation why the screenshots of the email communication were taken in June 2020, but not produced to the defense until more than 2 years later. The government attempts to explain this away by claiming they were first discovered in May 2022. See docket 265 N4. But that creates more questions than it does answers. If what AUSA Cruel did was above water, then why did these communications have to be discovered? Why was the nature and origin unclear? If she got the pre-approval, their procedures and demands, then why was this not all documented in the proper reports and easily known to everyone? Why was there no transparency within the prosecution team? Why did they only now learn about the emails? Why were there strange emails buried away in HSI records and now in the possession of the government? Since it was AUSA who participated in the communication, these questions questions require answers. The fact that they exist provides proof that further discovery is needed to determine if the assistant U.S. attorney dealing with every witness in this case was engaging in what she knew to be improper procedures and trying to hide it. If this was also above board and according to protocol, then the reports indicating as much should be readily available, but they refused to provide any. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? The government attempts to shift blame away from AUSA Cruel by claiming, with no affidavit or report or any supporting evidence whatsoever, that the email account was created by and at the suggestion of a HSI agent. Docket 265, page 4. Yet they failed to say what HSI agent suggested the creation of this email or why it was suggested. There is also no indication of what HSI agent suggested such covert communication. If this was done by an agent, then there would be a report of it. All they must do is provide that. Instead, they keep the agent's name secret and provide nothing. Mr. McDavid asked the question again, why? It may be because, given the pervasive involvement of the highly inappropriate boss baby text messages, the government does not want to admit that the agent Melina was part of these communications as well. If not, then just say who it was. They chose to leave it a mystery. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? Do you want me to read the footnotes right now or later?
We're gonna do the footnotes later. We got this is the good stuff right here. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, y'all. I'm feeling it.
Okay. The most unsettling aspect of all of this is that the government is not calling Derogatis in their case in chief. To them, he is not a material witness to help prove the elements they must prove. So if they are willing to go to these great lengths of seeming deception for him, there is a need to find out if they did the same for other witnesses in this case. Them saying they did not without them saying they did not without any of the above noted agents' reports or affidavits provide a woefully insufficient. Wait, I messed that up. Them saying they did not without any of the above noted agent reports or affidavits provided a woefully insufficient. Oh, that's how it ends. I'm sorry. Without question, Mr. McDavid is allowed to attack the government's misconduct in investigating and prosecuting this case, which this evidence directly implicates. See United States versus Whitley, 514 U.S. 419, 437, 1995, stating the defense is entitled to attack the thoroughness and even the good faith of the investigation. And then it names another case. A common tactic of the defense lawyers is to discredit the caliber of the investigation or the decision to charge the defendant. Lindsay versus King. Reversing defendant's conviction based on suppression of evidence that would have been discrediting in some degree of the police methods employed in assembling the case against him. Okay. And we know AUSA Cruel acted similarly with Minor 1. We know full immunity was given to witness who engaged in unabashed extortion, possession, and distribution of child pornography, and admitted sexual activity with minors. We know those witnesses gave evolving, contradictory story during AUSA Cruel's tenure on the case. And we know that at least one of those witnesses was represented by disgraced attorney Michael Avenatti, who has been convicted of using deceptive means to obtain what he desired. What we do not know is why the government acted the way they did with Derogatis, and if these inappropriate actions spilled over to more material witness. Mr. McDavid has a right to the information that allows him to answer these questions. The outline of these facts above raises evidentiary questions about whether improper AUSA and agent conduct impacted the interactions with witnesses. Considering the implicatable facts noted above, It is obviously better to address it now by simply asking the government to provide reports and affidavits than to have to deal with it on appeal. Boss Baby's text. Without a single word in the affidavit from AUSA Cruel, the government boldly suggests that there is no problem with the assistant U.S. attorneys referring to the material witness in a case with a personal nickname, Boss Baby, and using a familiar and non-professional nickname, BB, to communicate with this person. If the assistant U.S. attorney has a personal relationship with a witness, that is an obvious source of bias for the witness. Famili- Familiarity with the prosecutors creates bias with witness in the favor of the prosecution. That is why professional relationships are to be maintained. If there is evidence suggesting a relationship with a witness that is outside the bounds of what a professional assistant U.S. attorney does, then any thoughtful person would want to know why this is happening. The fact that it is happening raises the likelihood that the witness is biased based on an inexplicable personal relationship with the assistant U.S. attorney handling her case. When there is an identifiable evidence of a source of bias, that the defendant is entitled to discovery regarding the details of the relationship that may create it. The law cannot be clearer. The government's discovery obligations extends to all information pertaining to witness credibility. See Smith versus Kane, finding a Brady violation when the government withheld the notes of an investigator taken from a witness' initial statement that contradicted his later statements. And then see United States versus Childs. The government has an obligation to disclose prior to trial impeaching evidence and evidence favorable to the defendant. This includes evidence going towards a witness bias. United States versus Burnside, stating that bias is one of the 5 acceptable methods for attacking a witness's credibility. Internal quotations omitted. And Mr. McDavid is entitled to all document material to preparing his defense that assists in uncovering admissible evidence, aiding witness preparation, corroborating testimony, or assisting impeachment and rebuttal. United States versus Caputo. The government must produce documents and materials that are exculpatory or helpful for impeachment. United States versus Baker. And this court cannot be hoodwinked by the government's insistence that it produced other discovery in this case. It does not cure a Brady or a Giglio violation. United States versus O'Connor. Holding that the government made other material available to the defense counsel does not render additional evidence immaterial. The government cannot simply declare there is no problem with the government lawyers having pet names for material witnesses without providing any evidence at all why this inexplicable nicknaming took place. Moreover, it is not strange that the government response to this motion without even an affidavit from AUSA Cruel. Moreover, it is not strange. It is not strange. I'm sorry, that kind of confused me. I would think it is strange that they submitted this without an affidavit. Okay. If there was a reasonable and innocent explanation for calling a material
Yeah, but
witness boss.
it's a question he's asked. Isn't it not strange? You know, like it's like
Oh, okay.
isn't it
Is it not
strange?
strange? Okay, I'm sorry. That's what I was doing. Is it not strange that the government's response to this motion without an affidavit from AUSA Cruel? If there was a reasonable and innocent explanation for calling a material witness boss baby, they could have provided it such an affidavit. They choose not to. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? Professional pregnancy photos of the witness were shared between this witness and a federal agent and an assistant U.S. attorney. This suggests a friendliness and a personal relationship that the undersigned have never seen in a federal criminal case. And the undersigned have almost certainly tried more federal criminal cases than government counsel has. Evidence potential bias based on the witness's friendly
Hold on.
relationship.
Yeah, hold on. Perspective. Damn, he just like went in. He
Mm.
said he has done more
Yeah, he
cases
sure
than you
did.
have. He went in. He has never seen this kind of communication with anybody with a witness like
I
this.
kind of like him. I feel like his paperwork was already prepared for their bullshit. I swear I
You
do
know,
because he
yeah,
already
because you
had
see how
the
quick he sent it in? He sent it in real quick, but go ahead.
he sent it really quick and he already had the cases to dispute what they said. He was ready for their bullshit because this is long.
Damn bull crap, not cussing. Remember, don't get up here cussing, okay?
Oh man, I'm going back to reading. Evidence potential bias based on the witness's friendly relationship with the government's attorney and agents must be disclosed. The government has access to AUSA Cruel. They can provide her statement responding to this unorthodox conduct, yet they choose not to. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? Mr. McDavid has even sent the government a subpoena for AUSA Cruel along with a touchy letter formally requesting that she be produced for trial. Exhibit B. Ooh. The government simply refuses to respond. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? Why does the government not quell this seemingly propriety? I'm sorry. Why does the government not quell this seemingly dang, I can't get it. Say it, one of you guys. I just said it, but I'm messing myself up.
Impropriety.
Impropriety, thank you. With a report from Agent Molina about how these photos were exchanged and why anyone could possibly think it was inappropriate or appropriate. An affidavit from Angel Cruel indicating why she thought it there appropriate to exchange personal photos with a government witness and refer to her with a non-professional nickname. And 3, the text from Agent Molina's phone where this photo exchange was initiated. All of this evidence is relevant to bias. If everything was done properly here, then the failure to immediately respond with this evidence is hard to comprehend. They have the messages exchanged by AUSA Cruel. They have access to Agent Molina and AUSA Cruel, yet they choose not to provide any evidentiary explanation and instead think they can declare that everything is fine and make it so. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? Why were AUSA Cruel and Agent Molina having undocumented conversations with this witness? The government does not deny they were undocumented, nor that they happened. Mr. McDavid's motion lists a litany of incidents in this case in which every unimportant and scarcely relevant contact between agents and other witnesses were meticulously noted in formal reports. Docket 252, page 6 through 7. Yet Molina and Cruel did not document the contents of their meetings and calls with the one witness they have for which they have a personal and seemingly intimate nickname, Boss Baby. This witness was treated differently than others in this case. Mr. McDavid asked the question, why? And Mr. McDavid has the right to an answer because this is apparent evidence of bias created by the relationship of this witness and a government agent, an attorney who met with just about every material witness in this case. See United States versus Bernal Obiso. We expect prosecution and investigators to take all reasonable measures to safeguard the system against treachery. The failure to document once again violates the government's own procedures, U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney Manual. subsection B8, stating that to avoid the prosecution becoming a witness, the prosecutor should interview the witnesses with an agent, and it should be memorialized by the agent. Memorialized. While preserving the prosecutor's and the agent's notes, subsection C, noting the government should make broad disclosures of potential impeachment information, including witness bias. The fact that this witness with this oddly personal moniker, Boss Baby, was treated differently than the other witnesses whose insignificant contacts with the agents were meticulously documented indicates an apparent source of bias due to the special treatment this witness received from the agent in the AUSA. Where is the government's explanation for why Boss Baby got treated specially? They apparently do not want to give it. They do not want the court to know it. However, because it is evidence supporting a possible source of bias, they are compelled to provide evidence to afford us with an explanation. See United States versus Gupta. Ordering the government to produce the notes taken by the secretary attorneys from joint interviews because they may have chosen to emphasize other parts of the witness interviews in his memoranda that did not make it into the FBI agent's notes. Their refusal to simply do so may say more than their unsupported and self-serving assertion that whatever AUSA Cruel did is perfectly fine. That non-answer response simply raises the question of why this witness got treated differently than the others who had their minor contacts all recorded in formal reports. The problem for the government is that the same witness with the weird pet name or nickname is also the same person whose contact with agents and prosecutors were handled differently than other witnesses. That suggests an apparent bias to anyone who is paying attention and raises further question as Minor One has for years declined to participate in any investigation prior to her contact with Agent Molina and AUSA Cruel. See Fields versus Weary. Noting that due process may be violated when a prosecutor influences witness testimony by using improper means. Evidence of apparent bias is a legitimate basis to compel the discovery that McDavid requests. There is no reason to risk a Giglio or Brady violation rather than simply compelling the government to at least present one, an affidavit from Angel Cruel explaining her relationship with Minor One, why she thought Boss Baby was an appropriate way to communicate with Minor One, and why the report of her contacts with Minor One were unreported while reports of contacts with other witnesses were not. Evidence of any other unreported communications Cruel may have had with this witness, and all text conversations between this witness and AUSA Molina, including the exchanges regarding these personal photos of the witness. As we know, these must exist. And number 4, identification of any other unreported contacts between AUSA Cruel or Agent Molina and material witness in this case. There is proof of possible bias here. Mr. McDavid has presented evidence indicating the appearance of potential bias created by the unusual relationship between AUSA Cruel and Agent Molina and Minor One, and that there was potential government misconduct occurring. That more than justifies his request for the disclosure of evidence. See United States versus Goldling. Holding that a defendant is entitled to discovery where the defendant presents a colorable claim of prosecutorial misconduct. United States versus Heidick. Noting that the courts have imposed a relatively low burden for such claims because most of the relevant proof will normally be in the government's hands. Internal quotations. Okay. If there is a legitimate explanation for what happened here, then the request for items of evidence above will provided. The fact that the government is going out of its way to avoid simply providing information within its possession that might explain the apparent improper behavior of AUSA Cruel gives us even more reason to demand that the request evidence be turned over at once. The lack of prosecutorial, sorry, candy in my mouth. The lack of say that please. Prosecutorial
Misconduct.
prosecutorial candor is exhibited here. Is a violation of Mr. McDavid's due process, not just because it involves prosecutorial misconduct, but more importantly because it involves a corruption of the truth-seeking function of the trial process. United States versus Agors. The government is not so special that its agents and attorneys get to have apparent unorthodox and improper relationships with witnesses. The evidence about which can be intentionally kept from the defense and the court even after it is requested. Mr. McDavid requests are based on evidence he has cited, not conjecture or speculation. The government's refusal to provide the information is devoid of any evidence whatsoever. The request disclosures need to be provided in order for the record in this case to be above reproach. Wherefore, the defendant, Daryl McDavid, moves this court to order that the government to disclose the requested information noted above and to compel them to produce Angel Cruel to give testimony during the trial of this case. He making Angel Cruel come. Oh, he going hard, huh, y'all?
Come on, y'all. It's going down.
They must know for sure Angel Cruel done some
dirty, unscrupulous things.
That's why they got rid of them. That's why they got all those moving
and
around.
We know these girls be some freaky girls. She's a very freaky girl. She get it from.
Hey, we ain't here. We don't know for sure. We ain't putting out stuff like
the way they was talking, baby. I don't know. I ain't never talked to no officer, no.
Heck no, not one who's trying to make me wait.
You will talk to an officer like that if you try to get out of a ticket.
I ain't never
exactly. Like you gonna flirt and you gonna try to make him your boo.
Just give me the ticket and I'll keep moving. I ain't never.
No, I'm just saying.
This officer was flirting back.
You may not do it. There are people who have done the dirty.
This officer was flirting back. So, yeah. I like seeing you in person. She said, I like seeing you in person. Mm-hmm. I like seeing you in person better.
Mr. McDavid, y'all, come on, let's do this tag team back again.
Are you're not finished? Come on, read.
What?
I am finished on that one. Am I tripping? That one ended.
It did.
Yeah, but we're going to the next one because we ain't got time to play around now. Come on, we gotta get out of here.
Oh, okay.
We got too much reading to do.
We sure
okay.
We got 267 one letter. That one. That's the one we're going to now.
I'm going. Unless one of you guys want to jump in. If not, I'll go.
You go ahead. You go. Go ahead on.
All right. To who it may concern, although it is our position that touchy compliance does not extend to criminal procedures in which the United States of America is a party, please accept this letter. Pursuant to 28 CFR 628 CFR. I'm skipping that. Federal agency has the discretion to decide whether its employees can testify and under what circumstances. As our official request to produce Assistant United States Attorney Angel Cruel to testify in the upcoming jury trial in the above referenced matter beginning on August 15th, 2022. A copy of the subpoena previously emailed to both AUSA Cruel and the assigned AUSAs to this matter is attached here too. The request for AUSA Cruz's testimony stems from the recently obtained emails and text messages that are the crux of our motion to compel discovery, and our supplemental motion to compel discovery. As the motions and the sealed exhibits demonstrate, AUSA Cruel engaged in a conduct that was highly improper with not only a potential witness, Jim Derogatis, but with the central witness in this case, Minor One. For the sake of brevity and to forego repetitiveness, the motion mentioned above are attached for your review. Our arguments and factual assertions contained therein are the basis for the need for AUSA Cruel's testimony. At trial, counsel for Ms. Daryl McDavid intends to question AUSA Cruel regarding the following relevant subject matters. The origination of the Boss Baby moniker entered into AUSA Cruel's iPhone, when it was entered into the phone, and why AUSA Cruel began referring to Minor One as Boss Baby. The existence of any personal relationship between AUSA Cruel and Minor One that could justify this odd familiarity and information regarding all contacts that AUSA Cruel had with Minor One. The reason AUSA Cruel insisted on meeting and communicating with Minor One outside of work hours. The subject matter and the contents of the 7 phone calls and meetings between AUSA Cruel and Minor One that were not memorialized as identified in the supplemental motion to compel. The reason 7 phone calls and meetings were not memorialized. The explanation for the synonym used to communicate with Jim Derogatis, the creation of the Pied Piper 312 Gmail account, the reason and the goal for using this email account that could not have been accomplished using AUSA Cruel's assigned Department of Justice email, and the reason no report was prepared regarding these clandestine communications and the creation of this pseudonyms. I'm not sure how do you say this?
Pseudonymous.
Pseudonymous email. Okay. Supervisory knowledge and approval or lack thereof of the above referenced communication and the manner in which they were done. Identities of any and all government attorneys and agents who knew about the above referenced communication and how they were undertaken. The name of any and all other witness, rather or not the government intends on calling them in their case in chief, in whom AUSA Cruel communicated in a similar manner as Minor One and Jim Derogatis, and any and all other relevant matters which may arise as a result of AUSA's testimony. On their face, the communications AUSA Cruel had with a potential witness, Jim Derogatis, and an integral witness, Minor One, gave the appearance of impropriety. I cannot say this. Impropriety. They were odd and unorthodox, to say the least. However, through her testimony, AUSA could give the jury an explanation that could shed light on her actions and clear up any misconception these acts might otherwise create. Without her testimony, the jury will simply hear that Minor One was initially reluctant to cooperate with the government. She subsequently developed a personal relationship with AUSA Cruel, as illustrated by these strange text messages, had several undocumented meetings with AUSA Cruel, and for the first time in more than 18 years, implicated the defendants. They will also hear that AUSA Cruel decided to have surreptitious communications with Jim Derogatis for an inexplicable reason. They will be left to ask themselves if the lead prosecutor was willing to do this with a witness who is purportedly not central to their case, Derogatis, what was she willing to do with the witness that were more material to the investigation? Or on the other hand, what did Derogatis really tell her that is not contained in these communications? AUSA Cruel is the only person who can explain any of this. We hope this touchy letter helps you determine whether or not to produce AUSA Cruel as a witness in our upcoming jury trial. If you have any questions or need further clarification, please feel free to contact me anytime. I hope to hear from you soon as the trial commences in 1 week. Sincerely, Vadim A. Klosman, counsel for Daryl McDavid.
All right, let's do this last letter and then we could discuss this. Department of Justice.
Oh, okay. Dear counsel, pursuant to the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 16 and Local Criminal Rule 16.1, and the protective order that governs discovery in this matter, we are producing with this letter the materials on the enclosed index. Additionally, enclosed on Disc 76 is a folder containing an advanced copy of a book titled Solace provided by Jim Derogatis to the government on April 16, 2019, and related correspondence. The email account used for this correspondence was created out of Mr. Derogatis' concern about sharing an advanced copy of his book. The government will not be using this book at trial, nor calling Mr. Derogatis as a witness, rather disclosing out of an abundance of caution. Very truly yours, John R. Lynch Jr., United States Attorney.
All right. Man, y'all, fireworks is going. Fireworks. Okay, the other song we have is It's Going Down. We call
So that's
Timber.
what they just replied. They basically just said that they created that email just because he was concerned about his unreleased book. Why would he think that AAUSA would release his book?
And why would they think that sending it to a fake email would be better than sending it to their professional email account, their government email account? That makes no sense.
None. That was a dumb excuse.
I said they think we are crazy.
Oh, I like him.
They think we are crazy.
I like him. He going hard in the paint.
Oh yeah, Beau ain't playing.
No, that wasn't Beau. That was
I know. Beau not playing. Laos,
Jennifer's not playing. They got a good team for real this time. Real lawyers.
And I honestly can't tell whether they are collaborating or not. But regardless if they are or not, what he's doing right now is...
Hold up, lady. Hold up. What do you say? They're not collaborating?
I don't know if they're collaborating because he could be working just in the benefit of his client, but the benefit of his client is helpful to her client. I can't tell yet fully.
We're going to let her with her opinions, y'all. We're going to leave her alone with her opinion.
I just said I can't tell yet fully.
What?
But
we're gonna leave her alone with her opinion over there, y'all. We're gonna leave her alone.
Okay. Hey, my name is Perspective for a reason.
Okay.
Oh God, but it's going down. I'm calling Timber. You better move. That's all I got to say.
I like it. I like how Jennifer is kind of being able to just say, yep, put me on that motion. Yep, put me on that motion. I second that.
You know what I like? That little demonstration of what that she put with Mary J. Blige blowing up the place and she keep walking.
Yeah, that was cold-blooded right there. Woo! Come on.
Definitely going down.
It's going down. Let's sing it. We're going calling Timber.
I don't know that song.
You don't know?
Google it. Google it.
You don't know that song. Hold on, I'm getting all these calls. Hold on, y'all.
I bet you that's not Dallas.
Y'all sing that song. You know what perspective? Exactly.
I was being funny.
Lynette
I
said,
got crank callers calling me, y'all.
what is Jim sending his
You're
book
not
for?
supposed to be answering.
I know. I don't normally answer.
Y'all just don't know how glad I am that this stuff is coming out about that man, because he's been stalking Mr. Kelly and just doing all kind of dirty stuff for years. So he has to come forward. If you can sit up there and go to this man's with arraignments and be there, and when he's doing his lawyers is there doing the reports and stuff, interviews, he's still up there hollering out. Now he want to hide. No, come out.
We're
I
not
agree.
done. We're not done. The footnotes, because this is a good footnote.
Come on, read the
Read it.
footnotes, girlie.
Oh, okay, read.
This footnote says, this is page 7. It says, one of the members of the current prosecution team was an attorney of record on this case during the time AUSA Cruel was the lead prosecutor. And I think that's good.
Penda. That's a Penda. That's a Penda. Whatever her name is. That the one start with an A.
So
Either way, basically what he's saying is y'all lying, because they just said none of the prosecution was part of the team when she was doing this.
They sure did.
Yeah,
They
they
sure
full ass
did.
lied. Ooh, they in trouble. Okay. The government claims that S.A. Molina is not on the witness list because of the promotion that relocated her. But witnesses get flown in for testimony all the time, particularly
The government got the
agents.
money to do it. They flew the other people over to New York, so why can't they fly them?
So he said the government, but witnesses get flown in for testimony all the time, particularly government agents. Many of the witnesses in this case are from out of state and are still testifying at this trial. A.S. Molina's involvement in this case was extensive. She even read individual B's grand jury testimony for him, which is bizarre in and of itself. Their explanation for her absence is insufficient. It sure is.
Yep.
It
They
is.
had unlimited resources, so why they can't bring it in?
Because there's some crooked stuff happening. Look, you see what they did with the cases in Chicago recently, right? Yeah, it's a bunch of corruption over there. And
That
over
was
here
it.
too, even New York one too. New York one was corrupt.
All them attorneys are quitting or being fired.
There's some crookedness, y'all. Crookedness. It was a political Ponzi. What's it called?
Ponzi scam.
Ponzi. Yeah, thank you. A political Ponzi scam, because they wanted to get Robert. They all wanted to get reelected and all this kind of stuff. And Robert was that big cheese to get.
Yep.
Well, could I say something? Because I don't. I think Jim. When did Jim Derogatis' book come out? Because I remember reading that a few years ago.
This is all in 2019, right?
19. Right? Yeah,
2019, 2020. I think the texts were in 2020, but the book thing was
No, their text
2019.
was 2019 as well.
Can
Starting
someone look and
with
see when his book was published? Because I think I read it around in 2019.
But what
They
they
said June the 4th.
Huh?
In the paperwork, is first they said June the 4th, 2022. And then later they said June the 4th, 2019.
originally published on June 4th, 2019. There it is right here.
But the text messages were what, May?
2020, right?
No, they had some 2019 stuff in there too.
But what they need his book for? You know what I'm saying? What do they need his book for?
Because that's what he's saying that he gave to Attorney Cruel. He said he emailed her his book.
If he
Okay,
can't,
but he didn't even trust the government enough. That's why she had to make up a fake name.
That's the lie
it
they
ain't got
telling.
nothing to do with that. It's just a lie they told.
Look,
I know
that's a
that
lie
don't
they
even make no
telling.
sense.
If he can't even testify, they shouldn't want nothing from him.
He don't want to testify. Remember, he
I
was
know.
he
So
ain't
if you
pleaded
if
the
you
fifth
don't
in
want to
2008.
if you don't want to testify, keep your blankety blank mouth shut.
But
He
why
doesn't
Right.
want to tell because he don't want to incriminate himself because he's behind going to jail too because he watched the porn. Let me play this video
Look,
again.
all they gonna do is give him immunity anyway.
He's
Right.
been doing interviews ever since his name has been put in this paperwork. So to me, if he can jump on those platforms, he can jump on the
The
stand.
stand.
Thank you.
Right.
Well, I'm going to play this little clip again. Hold on, y'all, with him talking about him involvement in the tape. Hold on. Here we go. Shout out to Justice for Kel for putting this out.
Is such a toxic and horrible crime that to say that you had even touched that video tape, much less watched it, perhaps copied it or shown it to someone else, would be admitting a felony. Okay? So Damon said you should take the Fifth Amendment and, on the grounds that you saying anything at all about that tape is incriminating yourself. You're protected by the U.S. Constitution from talking about that tape. That was.
You hear that, right? Do y'all hear it, Turkey Neck?
We hear that, but still, they would have gave him immunity. He just didn't want to get up there and say nothing.
They gave him immunity before.
Right. So that's no excuse. That's a cop out.
He doesn't want to blow his lies.
Because he's been lying and he has a fetish for Mr. Kelly.
Ooh, everybody want a piece of him, I see.
Baby.
Hey, Rob, what's up with that? Why is everybody after you like that, sir?
You be making them legs shaking. Do it till
You
your
make
legs
your legs
shaking.
I
shake.
know that's right.
Do it till your legs shaking.
Well, guys, I think I'm finished reading everything that I have. Did we miss anything else? Yeah, I'm tired of reading. I'm tired of being on this live with these.
That's how you feel? She don't love us right now.
I see.
Y'all know my patience is really short with being on these lives. I'm not into that lives like people be on there 10, 12 hours. No, that ain't for me.
Did you read what some unscripted angel said? Not to mention one of the people in the Illinois case tweeted her story in his book was false.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was Geronda said that, wasn't
So
it?
the book was a lie
Yeah.
anyway. The whole book is a lie. That's why he don't want to get up there and say anything. Because he know he was lying. It's all made up. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, that's why the government had it hidden. I was like, why they have this response hidden? Why they have it because they don't want us to read it out here on these
They
YouTube.
tried to steal it, but
Yep.
That's what it is. They don't want us to show the text messages. They don't want us to read it on here. They want us to keep it quiet. But no, this is what? We have a right. Freedom of speech, freedom of press. You can't control the narrative anymore, people. We're given the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth. And shame on you guys who've been dogging Mr. Kelly out and going about rumors and innuendos and all that kind of mess. Shame on y'all.
See, they was able to do all that stuff because the pandemic was going on and people was trying to take care of their family and stuff and they weren't able to really speak. But not now. They out. People are out.
No, they just had a bigger platform. That's what it was because the information was still being brought out, but the negative information was being brought out.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Lying hussies. Oh, did I say that? Did I say that?
Yep, it was you, not me.
Lying wenches.
I'm on, and you went harder with that. Huskies was lightweight. Winches, though? No, I'm just playing.
He is part of the change of custody with the tape. Copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of copies. We don't know what the real thing is.
Right.
Mhm. And he can
And
probably testify to
hey
that.
y'all, I'm also put this out too. Do you remember in Precedence that girl had that mask? You don't know if that person put on a mask and be R. Kelly on the tape. Y'all don't know if that's the fact if it didn't happen. Why did they have a mask? Huh? Huh?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Why did they have a mask
Mhm.
of Mr. Kelly? Who was playing him? Who's about the same height and bald head like him?
Mhm.
Don't laugh. Anything is possible over here now these days. With everything that we're hearing now, anything is possible. I'm not going to let nothing slide now.
Mhm.
Too much weird stuff is happening just to get this man. You got a whole jury not showing, and they're gonna try to act like we're gonna come after the jury. Stop lying. We ain't think about no freaking jury. I know I'm not. Who cares about some jury? You know how many people been in juries and then bad, terrible cases? Nobody really care.
The only
Murder.
thing, my only concern with the jury is like I would want to hear their reasoning after the fact. Just like I would want to hear New York's, like why? Because
But
I
let me
heard
tell
what I
you,
heard.
probably those were a government official. You understand what I'm saying? Probably they put them right on the jury stand. We don't know if they were working for the government
I
in a
know
position
that's
that
my
put them
only
on
thing.
there.
Like I wouldn't attack them. I would just want to know why and think they nuts. Because I know what I heard, so I don't understand what they. Yeah, that's why I think they were totally a setup, and that's why they haven't come out.
Yep. And it's not the integrity of the justice system, it's the integrity of the prosecution that will do anything. And we know prosecution have been caught in lies, DNA hidden, all kind of evidence hidden. They've done some dirty stuff just to win a case. And that's a
Right.
known fact.
And how can we even trust them? If you doing this is just one example of the things that they do. I mean, this is crazy.
It's a dirty game. This case has shown us a lot. It's a real
It
dirty
is.
game they play.
Yeah, very
The
dirty.
suppression of evidence, and we can see that people may very well have things to prove their innocence, but then the judge can say, yeah, but you can't bring that in.
Yeah.
And
It's
how is that
bull.
going to be a fair trial if you can't bring the evidence in to prove that they're lying? Okay, why they saying it's time to go? Why y'all trying to kick me off the live? Yeah, they don't want me to get off a tangent. Man,
What
y'all mute me. Hey, no muting Sylvia. Unmute Sylvia.
what time are you trying to come back to read this other one? So I can
9.
9 your time, 6 mine. Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna go now because they're trying to mute Sylvia. Gotta go.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.
Bye.
Bye.